Good evening, my friends, and welcome to another episode of our teaching broadcast. My name is Reverend Caleb Daniel, and I will be sharing and teaching how to recognize the enemy's movement in your life. Okay, here we go. Demons and spirits can't create life, they can only mimic life. They get stronger when you amplify and grow what they planted in your mind. That's where it all starts. In your mind, the negative spirit rarely stays. All they have to do is drop the seed and then move on to another person. For example, the reason the spirit of depression is stronger and running rampant is because of the attention we give it. All the demon has to do is drop the seed. When he does that, we water it and nourish it by thinking and focusing on it, and it grows until it gets out of control. That's what makes it hard to get out of. After it grows inside of you, remember, what's on the inside will work its way on the outside. You will project that harvest and what you're feeling in the atmosphere. That's when they then feed on that negative energy that manifests from spirit to carnal through atmosphere. That's their life. They can't have or create life, they can only feed off of what they planted, and that is how the demon or spirit feeds and grows. When the spirit drops the seeds and you nourish it, and when you get to harvest, the effect you feel and the pain that you feel, that is what feeds it and makes it stronger. They jump from person to person, they rarely ever stay. Next, we're going to talk about the difference between possession and influence. There is a difference between having the Holy Ghost and manifesting the Holy Ghost. Manifesting is the power and the having is the salvation. When you manifest that power and are filled with the Holy Ghost, that's when nothing can enter and possess you, because you are already possessed by the power of the Holy Ghost. But even though someone who has manifested the Holy Ghost can't be possessed, they can still be influenced. Everybody is susceptible to being influenced by a negative spirit or demon. When you first receive the Holy Ghost, you are like a babe until you manifest it. Babes are susceptible and open to anything, even possession. Because they are babes and are open to everything, they are susceptible to both positive and negative learning. It's because of the learning that babes are susceptible to all kinds of things. Remember, having the Holy Ghost is salvation, because you can't know Jesus Christ as the Lord but by the Holy Ghost, and being filled and manifesting the Holy Ghost is power. The power of life, multiplying and giving it, manifesting it. You are possessed with life. That's why you are not your own anymore, you are bought with life, you belong to God. They can only try to influence like the enemy did Jesus. Once you've manifested that life, then that's it, you've got it. That's the difference between salvation and power. And finally, we are going to finish up by talking a little bit about DNA and how to get rid of negative influences in your life and your family's life. DNA is where generational influences come from, both positive and negative influences. For example, if the spirit of depression or addiction runs in your family, that means your family is more susceptible to influence and feeding that spirit. In which the best way to get rid of that spirit is to invoke fire, but you can only do that after you have manifested the Holy Ghost. Purifying the bloodline is one of the benefits of manifesting the Holy Ghost, but it takes dying out to the flesh and the prayer that God will remove that negative connection and influence from your bloodline. As far as passing it along, where you are at in the moment, spiritually, and what you deal with in the moment will pass along the instant that spark of life is created. But along with that also comes the positive influences as well, like the spirit of generosity and giving, and the spirit of kindness. Positive influences you have embraced. What all of this means is that it is better to not reproduce and just recklessly give your seed until you have manifested the Holy Ghost and have allowed that fire to burn away the impurities and generational influences. Wait until you have manifested the Holy Ghost and your bloodline has been cleansed if you don't want your child to struggle with what you and the rest of your family struggle with, because once something is past, it's past. The first step after manifesting the Holy Ghost is recognition. You have to recognize what runs in your family in order to pray for God to cleanse you and your bloodline with His fire. It may take a few generations to completely get rid of the susceptibility of that negative spirit. With each generation doing the same thing, the susceptibility gets lesser and lesser until it's gone from your bloodline and the only thing left is life for your descendants. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I hope y'all have enjoyed today's message, and until next time, stay blessed and chase that light of life.